Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here. Bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. And talking about today, ZBCN, the Zebec Network, this IRA bombshell, and Zebec Network hits the iTrustCapital Canton Network, and the bank partnership rumors. So let me know what you guys think about that. Been crazy busy today, but we had to squeeze this video in. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and super chat if you can. Just trying to keep the lights on here on the BTM Crypto News Network. And you saw the video yesterday. Somebody actually used the BTM Crypto News Network in a reference. I'm shocked, but thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys. Let me see. Is that here? Just making sure I got everything set up, and I actually do for once, which is weird. But thanks for joining. What up, Tyron Copeland? 0.55 cents ZBCN. Let's go. Please and thank you. I said please and thank you for the 5 cent ZBCN. Let's freaking go, guys. Let me see here. Looking over the notes. What's going on? So what's going on, crypto fam? Tonight we're talking about ZBCN updates that's spicy enough to make your hardware wallets sweat. The Zebec Network is now available on iTrustCapital IRA accounts, which is big, meaning ZBCN just walked into the retirement money conversation wearing a suit and tie and maybe a little crypto hoodie underneath. And that's not all. We've got a Zebec Canton Network, Lattis Financial, Mastercard, debit card talk, PayFi infrastructure, and yes, the community is buzzing about a possible huge European bank partnership. But tonight we are doing this the right way. Facts first, rumors second, charts third, jokes sprinkled in anywhere like hot sauce on a crypto Twitter. So drop a 1 in the chat if ZBCN is going to IRA accounts is bullish. Drop a 2 if you still need more proof before you call this a PayFi monster. So what up, Tyran? What up, Silver Days, BTM Crypto News Network? Let's go BTM, bro. I think we get that 5 cents when clarity passes fully in the house. IMO. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, Silver and Tyran. 5 cents would be nice. And the question is, when is the Clarity Act going to pass is the $1 million question. I'm shocked it cleared the banking committee, but since it did, we're freaking live, man. Let's go. So let's start the screen share and see what we can see. But then monitor. I mean, my mouse keeps going in and out, which is weird. But let's get to it. This is a short. Let's play this short real quick. ZBCN, this is a great bullish sign. So let's see what he's talking about.
Quite optimistic in ZBCN in the short to midterm. First things first, in terms of Elios fix, I believe starting from the lows to about the highs, we have completed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a very awesome sign suggesting hopefully the final low is set. Also, in terms of classic trends, as you can see, in this recent phase up in Zebec, we have managed to successfully take the previous major pivot high, which is about, let's say, 0.35 of a cent. And this is yet another great sign suggesting, you know what, maybe the trend has changed. So overall, because of these reasons, I think we should be optimistic. However, in the short term, this isn't really to say that, for example, we are not allowed to consider some more moves on the downside. My point is this. Overall, any kind of move down in Zebec in our primary scenario should be considered actually as a bit of a buy the dip opportunity. And hopefully after this is over, we are going to witness a great move up in order to finally get a break of this important level and go much higher and take the all-time high. Now, if you want to know what might be the next likely move in short term in this specific area, I would like to suggest to give today's update a watch. Okay, so here is a very important reason for why I think
So shout out to ChartX Crypto and that update. This is Zebec and Canton partnership unlocking the future. This is my main man, Grow Rich and Grow Happy.
Bank on the Canton Network. So we connect the dots to that or the breadcrumbs. You say, okay, so technically, isn't Zebec partnered with Canton too? True, but it's going to get even better than that. As Simon said, further integration and partnerships with Zebec and Canton directly is coming. Now, I want to talk about real quick. Everybody is always saying that Canton Network, they are a competitor to Zebec, where they're not. Now, if you remember, Zebec just partnered with Lattis, and Lattis is the first neon bank, or neo. You guys always corrected me. The first neo bank on the Canton Network. So we connect the dots to that or the breadcrumbs. You say, okay, so technically, isn't Zebec partnered with Canton too? True, but it's going to get even better than that. As Simon said, further integration and partnerships with Zebec and Canton directly is coming. Now, I want to talk about real quick. Everybody is always saying that Canton Network, they are a competitor to Zebec, where they're not. Now, if you remember, Zebec just partnered with Lattis, and Lattis is the first neon bank, or neo. You guys always corrected me. The first neo bank on the Canton Network. So we connect the dots to that or the breadcrumbs. You say, okay, so technically, isn't Zebec partnered with Canton too? True, but it's going to get even better than that. As Simon said, further integration and partnerships with Zebec and Canton directly is coming. Now, I want to talk about real quick. Everybody is always saying that Canton Network, they are a competitor to Zebec, where they're not. Now, if you remember, Zebec just partnered with Lattis.
So I thought this was a long video, and we're cycling back through the video. I'm tripping. I'm thinking this is a video, and this is actually a short. So shout out to Grow Rich and Grow Happy. Sorry about that, folks. What is this? Silver Days. Silver. BTM Crypto News Network. Let's go. Zebec to the moon. Charts are entertaining, but macro determines everything. War, gas, economy, and stock market affects the crypto market and politics. Yes, sir, Tyrone. The geopolitical environment. Zebec and other cryptos would be higher if we didn't have bad macro news. Man, you preaching to the choir, fam, and you are 1,000% right. If we were not having madness going on,
a major update on Zebec. What
crypto as a whole would be on fire. So let's get to the short real quick.
I'm expecting next is going to be massive, and it actually represents a massive opportunity for every single Zebec holder and everybody watching this video right now. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's happening to Zebec right now, why we've seen this brief sell-off, what happens next, and of course, how you can all prepare. Now, I want to make it clear, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that you see in this video is financially advised. So always make sure to do your own independent research. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Now, Zebec right now is at $286 million market cap. Zebec has sold off quite a bit, down 18% for the week, and currently down 5.89% so far for the day. But for the month, Zebec is still up 5.8%.
What up, Dave? What's going on with your fam? What up, Silver, my main man, the hardest working man in crypto? I see you, Silver. But let's get back to this video. I'm about to get a water. Be right back.
Very important to add that Zebec's one of the only altcoins in a profit for the year. And I want to make that clear. We cannot look past that. Zebec right now is still outperforming Bitcoin when it comes to percentage gains, outperforming XRP, outperforming Cardano, outperforming Solana, right? So Zebec is still one of the best performing altcoins in the market right now. But with that being said, this slight pullback that we're experiencing is because we've seen a slight sell-off on Bitcoin, right? And as I always say, when Bitcoin goes up, typically speaking, altcoins go up. And when altcoins go down, typically speaking, altcoins go down as well. So we're seeing a bit of profit taking with a bit of panic selling around Bitcoin's going to the downside. But the good news is, I think the pullback is over and we're now about to see a reversal. And here's the good news for a lot of people watching this video right now. Once Zebec goes back up to its April highs, that is a 46 percentage point gain, which is absolutely insane because I think this can happen in a flash, right? So a lot of the people that missed out on my free buy calls at the lows, guess what? Because you're watching this video right now, you are now presented with another massive opportunity to DCA at these lows. And if you missed out on those opportunities at the lows, it means you're not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you subscribe right now so you do not miss out on another major Zebec update. Subscribed, perfect. Let's continue with the video. And that's, of course, the short-term opportunity. We are expecting Zebec to climb higher than this. And I do want to say, as we are expecting Bitcoin to go up from where we currently are now, after this brief pullback that we've experienced, I actually think we're going to see a very bullish June as well. And I'm going to be able to confirm that by the end of this week. So again, don't quote me just yet. I'm still keeping an eye on the macro data. I'm keeping an eye on everything that's happening right now, and I'll be able to make a final decision. If you want to know what I think is going to happen, you can join my free Telegram group using the link in my description. Just make sure you have the Telegram app downloaded. Otherwise, the link will not work. Once again, if you want to know where I think the market is headed in June, you can join my free Telegram group using the link in my description. Let's continue. So number one, the market is down because Bitcoin is Zebec's down because Bitcoin is down and other altcoins are currently down at the moment. However, I think we're about to see the reversal. So short-term move, we're looking at about 46%. But remember, our next major target's the top of the range at 0.006750. That's our next major target. We're now 136% away from this target area. This is the area where we're going to have a very deep review. We're going to see where the overall market is at. And depending on where the overall market is at, we'll talk about whether we're going to take some profit off the table or whether we're going to let price move up to our next major targets. But I don't want anybody panicking right now. Once again, I still think Zebec is one of the most solid short to mid-term, or well, mainly long-term opportunities. Let's be honest. I mean, for me, I got into this project because I was looking at it from a long-term perspective, but even short-term and mid-term, there's still a massive opportunity on Zebec. So guys, don't panic. The sales that we're seeing is very, very normal. Remember, I just want to remind everyone, in the month of April, Zebec went up, wait for it, went up over 68%, right? 68% rally, and of course has had a slight pullback right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you all up to date. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you join my free Telegram group. Next target price I want you all to keep an eye on is going, or mini target is actually going to be at 0.004761. That's the next mini target. And of course, 0.0068456. That will be our next target. So we'll see what happens, guys. Until next update, seize the day.
So shout out to, who is this? This is VLC Network. So moving on, this is the bubbles, and it looks like crypto came awake today. So let me know what you guys think about that. What happened in the macro news or geopolitical that is pumping crypto all the way up. So let me know if you guys get a chance. I've been busy today, so I'm depending on you guys to give us some kind of update. I didn't even watch the news in the last days. Things is crazy. It's crazy, guys. Crazy. But let's see. Dave, let's go. Realistic price of Zebec in 1 year, please, and thank you. I won't be mad at 10 cents. Zebec. Same homie. All Zebec token unlocks are 100% complete. It's blast off time. XRP paved the way for Zebec to fly high. Definitely silver day 100%. Agree 1,000%. Okay, so for a price prediction, we'll get to that later on. I suspect somewhere between 5 and 10 cents, maybe 7 cents. The biggest problem is the Clarity Act. We need something happening, some movement, some kind of clarity on what's going on with the Clarity Act. Once that is finalized, or at least summarized, or even authorized, right? I don't understand. And just trying to keep up. But at some point, maybe we'll get some kind of legal framework or updates about the clarity, and then we can go forward from there. So back to the bubbles. SQD is up 10.7. Nero is up 12.1. Tau is up 6.2%. Solana's up 2.1. Hyperliquid is up 12.7 on the day, 5.1 on the 4 hours, 2.6 on the hour, 39.4 on the week, 32.8 on the month, and 105% on the year. Flare's up 1.6. Polymesh is up 3.5. Radium is up 12.2. ZK is up 3.2. XPR finally is up 2.9% on the day, 0.6 on the 4 hour, 0.8 on the hour, down 1.5 on the week, up 14.4 on the month, down 36.3 on the year. Caspa's up 3.7. Aliro. Aerodrome Financial is up 2.2. Binance is up 1.4. Medane is up 2.7. Dash, I'm not sure what the freak is going on with Dash. Dash is up 18.5 on the day, 1.9 on the 4 hour, 0.9 on the hour. For the week, up 13.4. For the month, up 44.8. For the year, up 111%. Ondo's up 9.9. Canton Network is up 3.7. Prime is up 2.1. Turbo's up 0.8. FET's up 0.9. Satoshi's is up 3.2. Pi's up 1.5. Sui's up 2%. AIXBT's up 2.6. Monero's up 1%. Filecoin's up 3.4. Near Protocol is up 5.3. Jupiter's up 9.7. AIOZ's up 2.6. Swarm is up 16.8. World Liberty Financial is up 4.8. Swarm is up 16.8. ICP and Bansfield, those guys are up 3.1. Pith is up 8.2. XDC is up 7%. Trump Coin's up 1%. Quant is up 1%. Zcash is up 17.8% on the day. 2.1% on the 4 hour, 0.5 on the hour, 28.1 on the week. For the month up 113%, and for the year up 1,523. Man, it's almost $700. I need to keep an eye on that. Telecoin is up 4.3 on the day, down 0.7 on the 4 hour, up 1.6 on the hour. Alchemy Pay is up 1.5. Bears up 2.1. Flux is up 5.1%. Algorand's up 4%. Render is up 4.4. Now let's look at the market movers. Bitcoin is up 0.8 on the day, unchanged on the 4 hour, unchanged on the hour, down 2.3 on the week. For the month, up 1.9. For the year, down 27.4 to 77,446. Ethereum is up 0.7 on the day, down 0.2 on the 4 hour, unchanged on the hour, down 5.8 on the week, down 8.3 on the month, and down 15.8 on the year. Wow. XRP fell below. Binance up 0.2 on the day, down 0.1 on the 4 hour, down up 0.1 on the hour. For the week, it is down 4.2. For the month, it's down 4.3. For the year, it's down 42.1. It's weird with the Clarity Act moving forward in the XRP Vegas. I was suspecting XRP would do more than $1.34, but no worries there. Just hang in there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. Just got to be patient with crypto. So moving forward, that was our favorite cross-border remittance, and our favorite payroll processor is up 4.5% on the day, up 1% on the 4 hour, down 2% on the hour. For the week, we're down 11.3. For the month, we're down or up 10%. For the year, we are up 51.3. Also expecting it to do a lot more after XRP Vegas. But at this point, we know it's rigged, guys. Don't lose your mind over it. Just be patient and continue to hold. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Silver is fires. Dave nailed it. Silver. Let's go $1 Zebec. Miko Rod. I would love that, but be patient, my guy. Silver Canton is about to take off. I hope so. Canton, Dave, Danny, what's going on with your fam? Canton, let's go. So where's Canton? What's Canton doing today? Canton is up 4% on the day. So this is a video, links of videos. I'm not sure where that's there. This is the Zebec Network. We'll move that back as well. So this is Zebec holders. We're at 106,433. That does look like yesterday's numbers. Let's refresh that real quick. So we're at 106,538. On the 4-hour, we added 39. 12 hours added 83. On the day, added 113. 3 days added 212. For the week, we're up 646. 14 days, 2 weeks, we're up 100 or 1,666. That's a weird number. And for the month, we are up 5,289. So for Live Coin Watch is saying the 0030 down 2.02 on the hour, up 5.02 on the day, down 11.2 on the week. On the month, up 10.56%. On the quarter, which is 90 days. 3 months, 45.65%. And for the year, up 52. Coin market cap has us at the 0030, up 5.22% on the day. Back in the 300 million market cap. I can sleep at night, guys. Things are back on track. As long as we're above 300 million market cap, things are okay. We dip under that 300 mil, it's kind of iffy. So as long as we're above the 300 million market cap, things are doing okay. I'm gonna get my camera situated here. Zebec is now available on iTrustCapital IRA accounts. U.S. holders can buy and hold Zebec in a tax advantage crypto retirement account. iTrustCapital is one of the leading platforms for crypto IRA with 16 billion in total transactions volume, up 60% over the past year. Shout out to Zebec or Deepak. Or Deepak, actually. Zebec 5.5% ripping on the IRA bombshell partnership moon launching. ZBCN. I get a kick out of people bashing their own investment. The psychology behind this is interesting. I pray that they are doing it to lower the price so they can buy more or buy to get into ZBCN if they purchased it at a higher price. Honestly, it's not the investment's fault. It is the investor who chose to try and time the market and had no intent on holding. That formula is super risky to me. Buy at your own risk. Look in the mirror and decide why you're investing and inherit the risk of what you are about to do. I've been in this over a year now and I'm in the green, but far from where I want to be. Of course, I decided to purchase a bag along the way. It did rise my dollar cost average, but also got me a shit ton of coins with the sideways market. I will continue to purchase and raise my rank in the holders chart on Solo Scan. Peace and good luck to you all long. ZBCN pull now before it's too late. This will hit the bottom again at the 0012. Sandeep is deep in the red. Just hold, brother. We know you bought at the top or wouldn't be wasting your time in the community. I'm bearish on Zebec, although I understand the whole market's down, but I feel the whales are manipulating the coin in a different way. Just some time ago, I was reading posts about recent accomplishments Zebec made and how is it going to skyrocket. But this is the end result we got. We're all being asked to hold while whales are making bank. This is not a good situation. Interesting. Let me see. Not sure why Telecoin's up here. I think Telecoin is up here from yesterday. We're going to switch from Telecoin to Canton. Canton's at 15 cents. I got in Canton when it was under 7 cents. Up 3.8 on the day. Market cap 5.9 billion. Up 3.8. Wait, 3.98. 24-hour trading volume 18.9 million, up 16.7 on the 24-hour. So let's go back over to X. Shout out to the BTM Crypto News Network. And you can see here, posted yesterday, somebody actually referenced BTM Crypto News Network in one of their videos. So now the pressure's on for something to happen in May about this bank. And when it does happen, we are freaking live. So this is Grow Rich and Grow Happy. Out of 5 crypto projects I talked about, Zebec might be the biggest bet. Why?
Opportunity, but
Let's run this back.
So we got me for them, and especially where they are right now. We see they're down at the making of this video. I like it. It's definitely an opportunity, but I look at them as asymmetric. They're one of them plays that you're going to get into because they got the streaming payroll. Payroll, you can't get away from payroll. Payroll is in every facet of business and just enterprise and everywhere. And I told you guys, make sure you check out that video that I also did where I believe, this is just my belief, nothing's been written in stone or anything. I believe that when they plug into the Canton network, they're going to be just doing the same thing they're doing for Ripple and the XRP ledger. They're going to be integrating their payment rails on the Canton. I really believe that, guys, but to me, that's big. Now, as I told you guys, I'm always believe in diversification, but in Zebec's case, I told you don't want to be too thin. You want to make some decent money. I believe they are at a great entry price for someone. Me, I'm going to put out of that $1,000, I'm going to put $450 in this. I'm just going to let you know now, this is going to be my biggest bag because of how many blockchains these guys are going to be integrated into. And they got the payment app. They got the phone app coming. The guys, they have all of their compliance sold up.
So shout out to Grow Rich and Grow Happy. John, I really don't like to give price predictions because if I'm right, then everybody swarms to me for more price predictions. If I'm wrong, I never hear the end of it. So it's literally a no-win situation for me. But that's weird. I'd say between $1 and $5, right? Conservatively. In the next 2 years, I don't think it's gonna go crazy because the way crypto moves, it's slow. We'll say it that. It's not even at a penny yet. So if you're thinking it's gonna be more than $20 in 2 years, you got another thing coming to you, right? Maybe $5, maybe $7, maybe over $10. I would be very shocked. But keep in mind, it's not even at a penny yet. First, you got to get to a penny, then $1. I'm thinking 5 cents. John, I think it's going to do more than 5 cents in 2 years. But we got to get to a penny first, guys. So before you guys go crazy and just go madness, first step is a penny. Then 5 cents. In 2 years, we should get to $1, guys. In 2 years, hopefully we'll be over a penny at some point this year. Maybe a couple of pennies by the next year if everything goes well, right? If everything's lining up, we should start to push hard. But we got to get over a penny. And like these guys are saying, it's kind of hard to time the market. Right, it's kind of hard to predict because there's so much else going on to keep the price down. So keeping it moving. This is Imagine Money moving like water. Zebec stream salaries 24/7. ZBCN fuels governance, payroll, cards, Visa, Mastercard, multi-chain rails, and futures streaming, no waiting. Big one, ZBC is now available on iTrustCapital. Institutional grade custody, tax advantage IRAs. The same rails serious investors used to hold Bitcoin and gold for retirement, now open to Zebec. And this should really start to pump the price. I don't know how it'll affect it if the tokens are taken off network, but we will see. Let me go back to that. Trying to see if there's a little video here. Zebec is now available. Drum roll, please, on iTrustCapital IRA. Zebec available. I'm going to have to look into that because there might be some serious tax implications to move your crypto over to IRAs. I heard a lot of people talking about it. And not financial advice, guys. Do your own research. Don't move all your crypto over to IRA and wonder if the tax implication helps you or doesn't help you. But make sure you research that, guys, before doing it. Senate regulation just gave Zebec Network a legitimate rocket. Clear rules, stablecoin, and real world rails in mainstream. And Zebec isn't just another L2. This is a protocol utility, not meme momentum. Why whales are stacking ZBCN. Now, streaming payments on chain, no queue, no wait. Real cash flow integration into DeFi apps. Super app coming. Liquidity, utility under one roof. Retail still debating charts. Smart money already in position. Link to the Zebec Silver Super app. See why this isn't pumping. Talk. Your move. Will you load your bag or watch from the sideline? Load the bag. Not financial advice. This is just me talking mess to you guys. So this is the iTrustCapital. So let's go over to the notes. So there's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a man with charts, coffee, too many browser tabs open. Crypto is risky. Do your own research, manage your risk, and never buy green candles just because YouTube got loud. And that's 100% correct, guys. Just because people are talking about on YouTube, don't FOMO in on something that's pumping today and gone tomorrow. So make sure you know what you're buying before you get too deep into it. So the big question tonight is this. Is Zebec moving slowly from small cap PayFi speculation into a serious real world payment story? The reason this topic matters is because Zebec is no longer just a maybe one day crypto story. Zebec's own site describes the project as infrastructure for real-time payroll, crypto payments, multi-chain debit cards, and Web3 financial management, while listing ecosystem metrics such as 400 million annual payroll, 250 plus enterprise clients, 50K monthly users, and 20 plus chains with 150 integrated tokens. Now, add the new attention grabber. Zebec posted that it is available on iTrustCapital IRA accounts, allowing U.S. holders to buy and hold ZBCN and a tax advantage crypto retirement account. And guys, I need to research this because I'm definitely. That does not mean every retirement account in America is buying ZBCN tomorrow. So calm down, Uncle Larry. But it does mean Zebec just became easier to access for long-term retirement-style crypto investors. Why is the iTrust IRA listing matter? Let's start with the biggest confirmed update. ZBCN is now available through the iTrust IRA accounts. iTrust-owned site lists ZBCN Network along assets on its crypto IRA platform. And iTrustCapital describes itself as a fintech software platform for alternative assets as crypto, gold, silver, inside retirement accounts. It also makes clear that self-directed transactions are user controlled, and the iTrustCapital does not endorse any specific digital asset or strategy. It is important because real exchange listings are one thing, but IRA availability hits a different audience. That is not just I found a coin at 2 a.m. and aped in because the logo looked cool. This is retirement account territory. This is long-term holding territory. This is I'm trying to build wealth, not explain to my wife why I bought another frog coin territory. So why viewers should care. Crypto IRA access can matter because it puts an asset in front of investors who may be thinking in years, not just 5-minute candles, but keep it balanced. iTrustCapital is a platform, not a guaranteed price appreciation. The bullish case is visibility. The realistic case is access. The irresponsible case is saying this guarantees a moonshot. We don't do that over here. We do facts with flavor. Do you think IRA access is big for ZBCN type IRA bullish, or need more if you want to see where the real ZBCN Army stands? So, got a little summary about what Zebec actually does. Zebec positioned itself around stablecoin payroll, PayFi, crypto cards, real-time payroll, and a super app. And its homepage is saying Zebec helps money and value move across payroll, investments, and everyday expenses. Zebec's tokenomics page also says ZBCN can be used to fund the Zebec card, allowing real-world spending and fiat at merchants globally, and that ZBCN staking in the super app will unlock card rewards tiers starting mid-2026. Zebec is not trying to be another coin you stare at while eating cereal at midnight. Zebec is trying to become a payment infrastructure, payroll card, streaming payment, stablecoin movement, real world spending. And that is why PayFi narrative matters. PayFi is a crypto trying to stop being a slot machine and start being financial plumbing. Everybody wants to be the Lambo coin. Zebec's trying to be the road, the gas station, the toll booth, and the payment terminal. So, what you guys have been waiting for. Canton Network plus Lattis Finance. So now let's talk about Canton Network's angle, because this is where ZBCN starts getting that institutional payment smell. And I mean that in a good way, like fresh paperwork, compliance departments, and rich people using words like settlement layer. Zebec announced that it's entered the Canton ecosystem through a partnership with Lattis Financial. And Zebec's post says the two would launch a Lattice card program, described as the first Mastercard debit Mastercard debit card in the Canton ecosystem with native Canton CC support. Mexi also reported that the first product under the Zebec Lattice partnership is the Lattice card program, a Mastercard debit card on Canton Network with native Canton support. So Canton Network is not just another meme coin playground. Canton is aimed at institutional finance, privacy, compliance, and real world financial applications. So when Zebec enters the ecosystem through Lattice, the story becomes bigger than just ZBCN numbers go up. It becomes can ZBCN plug into PayFi into more serious financial rails. Which headline is bigger? ZBCN IRA accounts or ZBCN entering the Canton ecosystem? Type IRA or type Canton. So let me know what you guys think about that. So, Tyron, 5 cents is the most realistic price prediction with Gravity passing full clarity. I think it's supposed to be clarity passing Senate vote, and then a slow gradual rise to 10 cents by the end of 2026 IMO. That does make sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. I can buy it. I can dig that, Tyron. But we'll have to wait and see. First step is they got to get the Clarity Act passed. Guys, we are falling behind, further and further behind in this crypto race as these guys are fighting over yields and all kind of interesting nonsense when we should be passing laws to regulate crypto. Zebec isn't slowing down. Super app, base extensions, real-time payroll are shaping the future of PayFi. I found this interesting. The article from 2025, Zebec HQ isn't just building hype. They're building real-world infrastructure, real-time payroll, major partnerships, acquisitions, and growing adoption, and putting ZBCN on more radars every day, whether Binance happens tomorrow or later. The foundation is getting harder to ignore. And he's right, guys. Things are on the up and up for ZBCN. At this point, we cannot be stopped. We passed the haters, right? We battled the FUD. We battled the nonsense, the lies, the people just trying to bring down Zebec, and here we are. So this is the European Banks Partnership rumors. Now we need to talk about the elephant in the room, the huge European bank rumors. I have not seen an official confirmation from the Zebec Network that a major European bank partnership has been announced. So we are not calling it confirmed. We are putting it in the rumor watch list category. The community is buzzing. People are watching for a potential major European bank update. Could that be huge if true? Absolutely. But until ZBCN confirms it, we're going to separate fact from speculation like grown-ups with Wi-Fi. Who is this? Cozy Cruz? That would be a dream come. Man, you're preaching to the choir, fam. You are preaching to the choir. Once this bank is announced, things are going to go crazy. And like I'm saying, with the U.S. falling behind and possible European banks, I think the crypto is going to explode in Europe and Japan. And then we're going to struggle to catch up, which is going to make the prices go even crazier while people in the U.S. try to maintain normalcy as the rest of the world is going crazy with crypto. So let me know what you guys think about that. in the comments. Comment. Comment it's your birthday. Comment your favorite color. Comment what crypto you like. Comment something. I don't care. Just comment. Let's see who is here and what you want to talk about. Confirm facts. ZBCN is available through iTrustCapital IRA. Confirm fact. Zebec has Canton Lattice activity. Confirm fact. Zebec has PayFi products around payroll and cards. Rumor. Huge European partnership that has not been confirmed yet. Crypto Twitter will turn a sneeze into a partnership announcement. Somebody post a bank emoji and suddenly everybody says Deutsche Bank is paying salaries in ZBCN. Relax. Let's wait for an official confirmation. And that was one thing that I was going to bring up. There's rumors, guys. Rumors that it is Deutsche Bank, right? They've already worked with Deutsche Bank. I think Lattice is partnered with Deutsche Bank. So there is a lot of connections there, but we'll have to wait and see. Danny, you like turtles? I like turtles too, Danny. I guess we have something in common. We both like turtles. See, Danny post about turtles. We got something to talk about. ZBCN will rise. Yes. Koji? Let's just say KK. Cozy Cruz. Let's just say KK. I don't want to mess your name up, and I'm not even sure what that says, bro. I'm barely illiterate, bro. I'm barely illiterate. I'm just trying to keep up. Do you think the bank rumor is real, or is the crypto community getting ahead of itself type real or rumor? I don't know. I don't know on this one, guys. I don't know. But let me know in the comments. If you like turtles, tell me you like turtles. Tell me something in the comments. PayFi, we got this. ZBCN market cap math. So apparently coin market cap is currently list Zebec around the 0030 with a live market cap of 305. This is 304 million. Circulating supply close to 100 billion. Max supply 100 billion to ZBCN. Kraken shows ZBCN around the 0030 market cap of 297, a 24-hour low of 0028, 24-hour high of 0030. Now there's $1 billion math with about 100 billion ZBCN supply and 1 billion market cap. That will put ZBCN around 1 cent, not $1, not $10, 1 penny. And that's why this conversation is interesting. Around the 003, 1 cent is roughly a 3.3x move, and that's not guaranteed. No, it's math insanely also. It's mathematically insane, actually. Current price to 003, approximately 1 billion market cap, price at 1 cent. Move needed roughly a 3.3x. 1 penny sounds tiny if you're pocket, but in the ZBCN math, 1 penny is $1 billion room. So do you think ZBCN could dip or pump up? I think it's going to dip first and then it's going to start to pump. But I think we're waiting on that major announcement. ZBCN president is known for announcing good news, so I would say it's fake news until we hear from Zebec on an official site. Yes, Tyran, he will tell you, right? He won't hesitate to tell you. We just got to wait for it. These guys are working on something big because they're quiet. Every time they get quiet, something big happens, and they have been quiet since XRP Vegas. Does iTrustCapital will hold ZBCN on their books just like an exchange? That's a good question, Mambo Land. I want to say they have to. If they're selling IRAs, they have to have it backed by something, right? So I would say they do have it, right? Okay, so this little pump we'll see is from a rumor, right? I think it's gonna pull back, right? It's gonna dump until that official announcement comes out about the bank, whatever the bank is. Some people are saying Santander, some people are saying Deutsche Bank, and some other banks I haven't heard of. But whenever we get an official announcement, things are going to go crazy. But until then, the price will continue to slide. We are just waiting on that banking announcement. So let me know what you guys think, or what bank you think will be named. So for bullish case, IRA access adds long-term visibility. The iTrust listing matters because it gets ZBCN into a different kind of conversation. Retirement accounts, that does not guarantee demand, but it opens the door. iTrust helps Center says the platform offers access to over 90 digital assets, and its market page currently includes Zebec. Bull case, real products, not just a narrative. Zebec claims real ecosystem traction, including payroll volume, enterprise clients, and monthly users, and chain token integrations. Payroll is real. Cards are real. Stablecoin payments are real. The question is whether Zebec can scale those products through the market to reward ZBCN. ZBCN and Lattice are tied to Canton's ecosystem Mastercard debit card program, according to Zebec and market reports. That gives Zebec a more serious PayFi story. You are not just talking about crypto users sending coins back and forth. You're talking about payroll, cards, stable coins, and institutional rails. Zebec's Tokenomics page says ZBCN could fund ZBCN cards that are staked ZBCN balances in the super app, and will unlock card reward tiers starting mid 2024. So, European bank rumor is still unconfirmed. ZBCN is still on altcoin. PayFi needs more adoptions. IRA listing does not guarantee price movement. So for the technical weekend, current public market data has ZBCN around the 0030 range, with CoinGecko showing a recent 24-hour range of 0.0028 and 0.0030, and a 7-day range around 0.0028 and 0.0036. CoinGecko also lists ZBCN all-time high near 007, reached on May 30th, 2025. May 30th is coming up, actually. I just realized that. Zebec could be a ETF on iTrust. ETF coming. Tony and Tyron, that's actually pretty smart. I need to look into that. I need to make a note of that, actually. That's something to keep an eye on. Where's my pen? An iTrust ETF coming. I need to make a note of that. I need to relook at that later. It's a good update though, guys. Thanks for that. So levels to watch: current battle zone 0029 to 0031, intermediate support 0028, deeper support 0026, the danger zone the 0023 and 24, which is right here. We get down in this range, the 2.4 and 2.2. Intermediate, the 0.028, which is right there. Breakout zone, the 0.038 and the 0.04. We got the 0.04 already mapped. Momentum target, the 0.045, which is up here. Psychological target, the 0.05. We are tracking it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. Previous all-time high around the 0.07. 1 billion market cap area around the 1 cents. For ZBCN to look bullish this weekend, I want to see it hold above the 0.028, reclaim the 0.032, and then attack the 0.036. If volume comes in, we get a clean break above the 0.036 and then the 0.038. The 0.040 becomes the next zone. Above that, traders will start looking at the 0.045 and the 0.050. Bearish if ZBCN loses the 0.028 and cannot reclaim it. I'm watching the 0.026. If the 0.026 fails, then the 0.023 and the 0.024 becomes bullish, better wake up zones. So neutral is the 0.028 to the 0.023. So anyone know why Lattice pumped yesterday? That's a good question. But I'm not seeing where it's doing a whole lot today, actually. And why can I never find these guys on the chart? But I'll have to look that up later. Biggest bank in Italy. You think it has to do with something with ZBCN that we haven't heard about yet? That would be cool. Okay, let's go to a couple videos. This is the European partnership, but I want to go to a longer video first. No, we'll go with Canton, and we'll come back to the European.
Because this information is not out to the public, and I may get into trouble for it, but I'm going to release it anyway. I have found the GitHub file of Zebec Network's proposal onto the Canton network using USDCX as the private payroll settlement layer. And this might be the biggest PayFi development for the Zebec ecosystem so far. Now, before I go any further, this is not financial advice. This is my own research and commentary for educational and entertainment purposes only. I do not tell you to buy, sell, and hold ZBCN or Canton coin. I just give you the information so you can make that decision yourself. I'll be breaking out the GitHub file, the proposals, and the Canton network sources to show you what's actually being built here. And I'll be putting this file in the link in the description. You're welcome. And I want to make this clear straight away. This is labeled as in development, so nothing is actually confirmed yet. What I'm saying is this: the GitHub file actually shows Zebec's next direction into the Canton ecosystem. And this direction is much bigger than people realize. Also, guys, this was not easy to find. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the videos, and please shout me out because it was definitely not easy to find. Anyway, 10% discount Tangent using code word STARREL. I'm sure you don't want to hear that. Anyway, let's get right into it. The Zebec and Canton payroll GitHub says the repository contains the code base and project documentation for Zebec Network's payroll and programmable payment D app on Canton. It says the project aims to deliver a public good production grade streaming payroll product on Canton, natively supporting USDCX as the default stablecoin for on-chain enterprise payments. It also lists the objective as bringing Zebec's streaming payroll infrastructure to Canton as a public utility for continuous payroll, treasury flows, and programmable payments. The GitHub also lists features like on-chain streaming payroll, role-based permissions, vesting schedules, privacy-preserving workflows, and integration with Zebec card infrastructure. And again, the status is written as in development. So this is not something we should overclaim, but from a product point of view, this is exactly the kind of infrastructure Zebec has been talking about: payroll, programmable payments, cards, and real-world utility moving across more serious financial networks. So the first thing I want people to understand that GitHub is showing a much bigger direction for Zebec. Zebec is trying to bring its streaming payroll products into the Canton Network's ecosystem. And Canton Network is not a normal chain. Canton Network is built around privacy, compliance, and institutional settlement. A business does not want employee salaries fully public on-chain. A contractor does not want every payment visible to everyone. A treasury team does not want its cash flow timing, payroll obligations, vendor activity on a transparent public level.
Bugatti, it's people like you that's ruining crypto. All y'all suckers in here, way off. Zebec's gonna hit like $2. Watch. I hope so. But thanks for the hopium. But I don't know, man. I don't doubt that Zebec can do it. The problem I have is the crypto market. It's not crypto, it's the market, right? The market is not moving the way it should move. That's my only concern. Not that it can't do it. The market won't do it, right? The market's what's holding us back, not crypto, not Zebec. The Zebec product is great. It's just the market's not good.
Ledger. So when Zebec starts building its payroll options onto the Canton network, the thesis becomes a lot bigger. It's creating financial applications that enterprises and businesses can actually understand in the real world. And that's why the GitHub file matters. It shows where Zebec actually wants to go next. Not just a token project, and definitely not just a card app, but a payroll and payments layer for institutional grade rails. Anyway, let's get deeper into the proposal because that's what you're probably waiting for. The Zebec and Canton proposal says Zebec proposes to build a public streaming payroll protocol on Canton, funded through the Canton Protocol Development Fund. It says the infrastructure would be developed as a public good, reusable by Canton's ecosystem participants, and designed for long-term community ownership. The proposal also says Zebec wants to fund the development and hosting of live production-grade payroll and token vesting D-app on Canton, freely accessible to participants with no integration fees and no custom development required. This matters because Zebec is not only talking about payroll. The proposal talks about treasury and payroll flows moving fully on-chain, employees and contractors getting paid continuously, compliant and private workflows, card infrastructure, and token vesting. The proposal even says Zebec will run the infrastructure directly as the public utility, audited, maintained, and available to any Canton wallet from day one. So now it's making a lot more sense. Payroll app is not just a send button. That is what people really need to understand here. If you are building payroll for real businesses, then you need more than just a token transfer. You need recipients, you need schedules, you need transfers, you need vesting, you need withdrawals, you need cancellations in case something bad happens. You need the whole thing to be private for enterprise users to even consider using it in the first place. And with the GitHub file, this is what Zebec is trying to package here. Canton Network provides the institutional rail. USDCX provides settlement asset, while Zebec provides the workflow. And the workflow is what companies actually interact with. A business owner does not care about blockchain because it sounds cool. And they certainly don't care if a smart contract is advanced either. They care about people actually getting paid. Is it private? Is it going to come on time? Does it cause friction? Can employees and contractors actually access the money? And whether the system can actually be used without a company building everything from scratch. And this is why the public good angle is important. If Zebec can make their payroll and payments into Canton's ecosystem participants more accessible to everyone, then it lowers the barriers for Canton teams to use payroll on-chain. Anyway, let's talk about USDCX because that is the payroll asset that Canton uses for its private settlement on-chain. Canton's own USDCX source says USDCX is live on Canton and follows the CIP56 token standard for composability across assets, apps, wallets, and venues while preserving privacy. It also explains that USDCX is backed by USDC deposit in Circle X Reserve, and that USDCX is interoperable with USDC through Circle's gateway and CCTP. Canton also makes the difference clear. Native USDC is issued by Circle affiliates, while USDCX is issued by a decentralized protocol on Canton and backed by on-chain USDC in X reserve. Canton says USDCX uses Canton's full privacy model, meaning USDCX holding and transfers are not publicly visible to uninvolved parties. That lines up directly with private payroll use cases. If USDCX can move privately inside Canton, then payroll, treasury flows, vendor payouts, and liquidity management become much more realistic for institutions, rather than trying to run sensitive payments on a public ledger. So this is where Canton Network starts to stand out. USDCX is not just another stablecoin ticker. It is a USDC-backed asset designed to work in Canton's privacy model. That matters because enterprise-grade payroll needs two things at the same time. One, it needs a stable dollar asset, and two, it needs privacy. Most public chains can give you speed, and most can give you cheap transactions. But the problem is, if every salary payment, every treasury flow, every contractor payment is visible for everyone, most serious companies are not even going to touch it. And that is why Canton's privacy model matters so much. Canton gives privacy, USDCX gives the dollar settlement, and Zebec has the payroll application. And when you put those three together, you get a product flow that is easy to understand for everyone. An employer connects a Canton wallet, they choose who they want to pay, they choose the amount, duration, and the frequency. USDCX gets locked into a streaming payment. The employer and the contractor sees their value grow in real time, and then they can withdraw what was vested. And then, depending on how the full product develops, those funds could connect into card spending or off-ramping. That is the real workflow. So now let's look into what Canton is actually building and what Canton Network sources actually backs this up. Canton's private payroll announcement says that for years, paying a global workforce with stablecoins was stopped because public blockchains expose sensitive salary data. Canton says the solution demonstrated how different specialists in the Canton ecosystem can work together to solve that problem, with Canton providing institutional grade privacy and compliance guarantees, instant payments, minimal costs, and confidential data. It also says treasury and finance teams could reduce cross-border payment costs by 60 to 80% and reduce settlement time from days to minutes. The Zebec proposal then explains what its own version would look like technically. An employer connects a Canton wallet to the Zebec D app, select recipients, amounts, duration, and payment frequency. The backend validates the parameters, calculates the required USDCX, the employer approves funding, and the streaming contract locks the employer's USDCX. From there, the contractor sees the amount grow in real time and can withdraw the vested amount at any point. The proposal also says stream activity fees on the Zebec Canton app are collected in Canton coin rather than ZBCN, which is important to understand here. So this is the cleanest way I want to explain the whole thing. Canton gives the private institutional rails. USDCX brings a stable dollar asset. Zebec is proposing the payroll, the treasury, and the vesting and the card application layer on top of that. And this is why the GitHub file matters. And this does not mean every Canton institution is using Zebec. And this does not mean the DTCC, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan is using ZBCN either. And this does not mean the Canton app creates ZBCN demand, because the proposal says the streaming fees is collected in Canton coin, not ZBCN. So we have to be honest here. But it does open the doors for bigger institutional adoption for Zebec. If Zebec can become the programmable payroll and payments layer on Canton, it gives Canton a real use case for private payroll, and it gives Zebec another opportunity to prove its payroll technology into a big ecosystem. Again, this does not guarantee price action for ZBCN. I'm watching payroll volume, the product usage, USDCX settlement, vesting activity, and the card loading, and whether Zebec actually becomes part of the financial stack onto the Canton network. Again, this is not financial advice, this is my own research and commentary. You can check up the GitHub file in the description. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bro, if you got 50 racks to be betting, invest that in something, man. Danny, yes, I'm in. Danny, yes, I'm in. Sure. Yes, I'm sure. Next video. Back to the European
Welcome back to
partnership.
ZBCN Today, the channel where we cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. What if one of the biggest banking partnerships in crypto right now is happening quietly behind the scenes while almost nobody fully realizes how important it could become? Right now, the entire crypto market has been struggling. Prices across the board have been pulling back, fear has started spreading again, and many people are losing confidence because of the short-term volatility. Zebec has also seen a pullback recently, dropping around 6.5% alongside the rest of the market. But despite all of that, people are still paying very close attention to the project for one major reason. According to Simon, the CEO of Zebec Network, a major European bank is expected to announce a partnership involving Zebec near the end of this month. Everything you hear on ZBCN Today is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice, investment advice, or a recommendation to buy or sell any asset. Even though the exact bank has not officially been revealed yet, this statement alone has created a huge amount of speculation across the community, because if the partnership turns out to be as big as people think, it could completely change how many investors view Zebec moving forward. What makes this even more interesting is that Simon also hinted this upcoming partnership is connected to the existing relationship between Zebec and Stellar. That means this may potentially become the first major real-world result of the Zebec and Stellar partnership. And because of that, many people have started trying to figure out which European banking institution could realistically be involved. Right now, there are two names that seem to stand out the most. The first one is Deutsche Bank. The reason many investors are discussing Deutsche Bank is because of its connection to AllUnity, which already had previous involvement with Zebec. Deutsche Bank is reportedly one of the entities connected to that joint venture, and because of those existing ties, some people believe there is already an indirect relationship forming behind the scenes. If that ends up being true, then the idea of Deutsche Bank officially partnering with Zebec would actually make a lot of sense. Large financial institutions usually do not randomly jump into partnerships without prior connections or infrastructure being built beforehand. That is why many people believe Deutsche Bank is one of the strongest possibilities right now. And honestly, if a partnership with a massive European institution like Deutsche Bank became official, it would instantly give Zebec far more legitimacy in the eyes of both retail investors and traditional finance. Suddenly, the project would no longer be viewed as just another speculative altcoin. Instead, people would begin seeing it as a serious player attempting to build real-world financial infrastructure. In crypto, perception changes everything, and a partnership with a giant institution can completely transform market sentiment around a project almost overnight. The second major possibility people keep discussing is Société Générale, specifically through its blockchain-focused division called SG Forge. This theory also makes a huge amount of sense because SG Forge has already shown major interest in blockchain technology and digital assets. In fact, the company became well known after launching one of the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoins called EURCV. What makes this extremely interesting is that the stablecoin reportedly expanded onto the Stellar network. And since Zebec already announced a partnership involving Stellar, many investors immediately started connecting the dots. If Zebec is working with Stellar infrastructure, while SG Forge is also active within the Stellar ecosystem, then a partnership between the two suddenly sounds very realistic. That is why so many people believe Société Générale could potentially be the mystery European bank Simon was talking about. The connections line up surprisingly well, and if this theory turns out to be correct, it would become a massive moment not only for Zebec, but also for the broader narrative of blockchain adoption within traditional banking systems. Some community members have even been mentioning this possibility for weeks already, trying to piece together clues before any official announcement happens. Whether they are right or wrong remains to be seen, but one thing is obvious. Excitement around this potential announcement is growing rapidly. There are also a few other names that people have been throwing around recently, even if the connections are not as strong as Deutsche Bank or Societe Generale. One of those names is BBVA. While there have not been many obvious public ties between BBVA and Zebec, BBVA has historically shown a much friendlier attitude toward crypto and blockchain innovation compared to many traditional banks. The company has explored digital assets and blockchain technology for years, which is why some investors believe it could still be a possibility. Another name people occasionally mention is Banco Santander. Santander has also explored blockchain initiatives in the past, making it another possible candidate whenever discussions about major European banks appear in crypto conversations. Still, compared to Deutsche Bank and Societe Generale, there is currently far less evidence connecting BBVA or Santander directly to Zebec. But until an official announcement is made, nobody truly knows for sure. The final partner could even be a completely different institution that nobody is currently expecting. That uncertainty is exactly why so many people remain focused on this story right now. Another major reason why this entire situation matters is because of the growing interest in crypto projects connected to global finance and payments infrastructure. For years, Ripple and Stellar dominated most discussions involving cross-border finance and institutional blockchain adoption. Those were the major names people focused on whenever they talked about blockchain technology potentially disrupting global payments. But recently, newer projects have slowly started entering the conversation as well. Projects like XDC Network, Onyx Coin, XPR Network, WFT Coin, and Zebec are all beginning to receive more attention from investors who believe the next crypto cycle could heavily focus on real-world utility and financial infrastructure. Historically, global trade and finance has always been one of the strongest narratives during major market recoveries because investors love the idea of blockchain transforming international banking systems. The difference now is that this sector may finally be expanding beyond only Ripple and Stellar. If that actually happens during the next major altcoin run, then projects like Zebec could potentially benefit in a huge way. Last year alone, Zebec reportedly reached a market capitalization of roughly $540 million, even without a full altcoin season taking place. That is why some investors are becoming increasingly curious. If the project was able to achieve that during a weaker market environment, what could happen if the market fully recovers while major institutional partnerships are also being announced at the same time? Nobody knows the answer, but it is definitely one of the biggest reasons why so many people continue watching Zebec closely despite all the recent volatility. A lot of people right now are overly focused on what happens in the next 24 hours, the next 2 days, or even the next week. But many long-term investors simply do not think that way. Their focus is usually on fundamentals rather than short-term price action. Instead of panicking over temporary pullbacks, they focus on whether a project is building partnerships, creating real utility, and positioning itself for long-term adoption. This is why many people continue dollar-cost averaging into projects they believe have strong fundamentals even during periods of market weakness. The mindset is very similar to long-term investing in stocks or real estate. Nobody buying long-term investments expects prices to move upward every single day. There are always downturns, corrections, and periods where sentiment becomes negative. But historically, markets have also shown that bear markets do not last forever. Eventually, sentiment shifts, liquidity returns, and new narratives begin dominating attention again. That is why many investors continue staying patient during periods like this instead of reacting emotionally to every short-term move. They believe that if they focus on fundamentally strong projects during fearful periods, they could potentially benefit later if the broader market eventually recovers. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in crypto. Every project carries risk, partnerships can fail, and speculation can always turn out to be wrong. But one thing is certain. With the end of the month approaching quickly, the anticipation surrounding this mystery European banking announcement is becoming one of the biggest talking points inside the Zebec community right now. The crypto market may currently look weak, but behind the scenes, speculation around Zebec continues getting stronger. According to the company's CEO, a major European bank connected to the Stellar ecosystem could announce a partnership involving Zebec before the end of this month. Right now, the two biggest theories appear to be Deutsche Bank and Societe Generale, although names like BBVA and Santander are still being discussed as possible alternatives. If any of these partnerships actually become official, it could significantly increase Zebec's credibility within the blockchain finance sector and potentially position the project as one of the rising names in global payments infrastructure. At the same time, many investors believe the broader narrative surrounding blockchain finance and institutional adoption could become one of the strongest themes during the next major altcoin cycle. Whether Zebec succeeds or not remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The project is receiving far more attention than it was just a year ago, and the next few weeks could become extremely important for its future. If you're getting value from this kind of focused, fundamentals-driven Zebec content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to ZBCN today, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. It directly supports the channel and helps this research-driven community grow.
If you're ready to take your crypto trading and investments to the next level, I created the 6-Figure Blueprint course. Over 70 in-depth lessons that give you proven strategies, mindset, and step-by-step systems on trade with confidence and build real wealth. One-time payment, lifetime access. And if you want daily trade calls, market breakdowns, alerts, and live insights, join my Discord for only $49.99 a month. Both links are down in the description. Don't just watch, take action, and start building the future you want to see today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how my sniper is doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Let's today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, legendary, you guessed it, Zebec Network. You know me, I'm super high on Zebec. I know this crypto is going to do absolutely well this cycle. We actually do have a couple of things to talk about. Before we jump into it, this is a post from this legend named Trading Sniper. Look, right, we can see there is a video, right, with Zebec. We will talk about this post a little bit more in depth, but basically you can see they're at the XRP Las Vegas convention. This was, roughly 3 to 4 weeks ago at this point, yada, yada, yada. And look, I said this, there's still people out there believing in this conspiracy where Zebec just gets to go to events, lie, do fake collaborations, partnerships, and integrations, and no one in the world notices other than these individuals. And that's true, right? I don't know if you guys see sometimes I rarely see it, but sometimes in my comments, people leave certain, weird, I'm just gonna say weird comments, that doesn't make sense, on Twitter mainly. And I just don't get it, I don't know how you can be one of those people that really thinks like the whole world is just blind and you're one of those individuals that only see the reality. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh a little bit, That's just something I wanted to bring up because look, bro, Zebec is the real deal, right? You cannot be getting away with this at all. Maybe you could pull off one thing, right? But even then, you would have been shut down, exposed, etc. Right? I've been hearing this narrative about Zebec for the last year. So
yeah, you guys are right. What generally happens is if it does hit $1, the price is going to go down, right? People are going to sell. It's probably going to start selling off around 50 cents, right? A lot of people who got in low at the 007, the 0007, the 000012, they're going to start selling, man. So if it does hit $1 or more, people are going to sell off. So it's going to come back down pretty quick. And like he mentioned, with the Coinbase and definitely Robinhood, if it ever gets to Robinhood, remember Robinhood froze the accounts when the Dodge thing happened, where you couldn't even sell it, right? You couldn't sell it. So I think that's going to be part of the effect as well. But let me know what you guys think. Swap to Solana and maybe get 3.5 5.7 API. I messaged Tangent to make a staking option for Zebec and more cryptos. Maybe they will. It'd probably be some time before Tangent does it, but we'll see. Let's finish this video out.
Anyways, look, the Clarity Act has advanced out of the Senate Banking Committee and now heads towards a full Senate vote. Clearer regulation will help accelerate innovation across stablecoins, payments, and real-world crypto products. Stay tuned for Simon's full XRP Las Vegas keynote. And we can see if we go and look at this, right? Boom, let's see this.
I'd say after the summer when the Genius Act passed, we saw a huge change in the number of companies that are calling Zebec, trying to get onboarded with Zebec. So it's been incredible for our business, and we're excited to see what's next with the Clarity Act as well.
Yeah, it's a very exciting, I guess, prospect. We'll see. I'm not going to ask you the over/under on Brad's prediction on when that could actually pass, but
I'd say after the summer when the
yeah, there we go, right? So boom, very, very nice. Right, pretty much just showcasing this. We can see 71,000 views, almost 950 likes, and etc. Oh, listen, some guy complaining about the mobile app. Listen, they already said it's going to be released a little bit later. Bro, one bump in the road and everyone's complaining. See, this is why, guys, in life, you cannot always give 100% because you don't keep up with 100% for once in your life out of the whole entire year, out of all the partnerships, integrations, promises, and people complain. However, if you were somebody or a crypto or a company that puts themselves 70% or 80%, or you demand stuff from other people, people will be on their knees so grateful for you. And that's just the reality, right? That's just the reality. But anyways, listen, bro, enough about talking about why people suck so much. Let's talk about why Zebec is extremely awesome. We can see, right? I don't understand. Oh, okay, this actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. Okay, I was like, why do we have a post from February 23rd over here? I thought my Twitter glitched. But boom, Zebec is now available on iTrustCapital IRA accounts. U.S. holders can buy and hold Zebec in a tax-advantaged crypto retirement account. iTrustCapital is one of the leading U.S. platforms for crypto IRAs with $16 billion in total transaction volume, up 60% over the past year. So we can see, right? Boom, very, very nice. Also officially from iTrustCapital, 30,000 followers, 10,000 views, right? Boom. Very, very nice. We can see this is already getting good traction, 10,000 views, 370 likes. Retiring with tax-free Zebec is a dream, said Ghost. We see Crypto Neptune saying Zebec is the perfect setup for a top 50 project, only a matter of time. Absolutely agree, right? Zebec is taking all of the right and fundamental steps. They are covering every single corner. They are covering all the big and relevant things, and they're just doing it right. They're just doing this right. Things like these types of posts, they might not be the 10 out of 10 like the XRP announcement, but this still adds value. That still is going to, have these investors look at Zebec and be like, you know what? We will pump an extra couple of millions of dollars in this, tens of millions, and etc. And that's what is going to happen in the future. Every single thing Zebec is working for and has been working for over the last couple of years is all going to show when the elites of the world give the green light and the crypto start pumping. Okay, that is just a reality. That is just the reality. So look, man, very, very exciting times. We can see, right, Zebec has been absolutely crushing it. Right, I don't think we did a news video yesterday, but we do actually have a lot more news to talk about, potential updates coming, integrations, and etc. We do have this final post saying this update: Lattice's current X handle. Looking forward to continued collaboration with the team. So I think they changed, right? They changed the handle, right? So boom, they went from there to Lattice Cash. So there we go, right? There we go. Just a minor little update. Okay, what then? F you and your disgusting news. Why doesn't Zebec go up? This guy must be, let's see, where's he from? Europe. Okay, I thought the Europeans always flex good education, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Just sometimes, sometimes you got to be this way. Listen, Bitcoin $77,500. We're going to look at Zebec Network. We can see rank 120 at 8,409 active cryptos. Do not be concerned with the ranking. Do not be concerned with the ranking. In a way, we did overperform within the month, right? Going up 75% or whatever we did at one point is a huge overperformance when you look at the whole entire crypto market. So the fact that we're correcting a little bit now and having healthy pullbacks is fine. We will go back into 110. We'll go back into the 100s. This has happened historically before when we've been in the 160s and 50s and 40s and 30s. And yet, when you look at the bigger picture, we have still been trending towards the upside. In the last month, we're up over 10%. In the last week, we are down over 10%. In the last 24 hours, we're up exactly 3%. When we go look at something like the holders, we can see we're over 106,000 holders, right? We're halfway through 107,000 holders. We can see that we are consistently rising anywhere pretty much from it's slowed down at sometimes, sometimes it's more like 70 holders a day. But at the end of the day, right, you got to realize when the market starts selling off a little bit, when there's a little bit less hype, less news, etc., you're bound to slow down. Overall, for me, none of this matters because I know when the time is going to be here, we're going to have tens of thousands of people bandwagon into Zebec every single day, just the same way they did with XRP and other cryptos in the past. That is going to be it, though. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.
Imagine getting paid the second that you step on the field, not waiting 2 weeks for a paycheck, not waiting for banks to clear the payments. The moment you step on the field, the money moves instantly, streaming, on-chain, transparent, global. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is where professional sports may be headed next. For decades, sports contracts have operated the same way. Teams pay banks, banks pay payroll processors pay agents, and agents.
Zebec today, ZBCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It is the 20th day of May, and here we are sitting at about $0.0029 with roughly 10 hours and 21 minutes left in the day. We've seen 6 red days in a row, and we've seen longer streaks than this before. It can continue this streak of red days, but likely we are at some type of point to turn around. Not only have we seen an exceptional streak of red days, but also we're at prior areas of resistance to find support. We look at this on a 4-hour time frame. You're moving lower, volumes dying off, right? We're looking at this on the weekly time frame. You're moving higher, volumes dying off. That's what made us bearish primarily, and beyond a bunch of other things. But if we're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame here, moving down, volumes dying off, that should make you bullish. Makes me a little bit bullish. So we're going to get the best of both worlds here. We're going to be effectively calling the high perfectly to the day. And then also we're going to call the little pivotal moments as well. We were bearish at this high. We were bearish at this high. I was even bullish at this low. I didn't think that we would go this high. I did say, I think it was like 0035 that I thought we'd go to. So we went a little bit higher than that. And then I was bearish from there. So I didn't expect this pivot here, but whatever. What would that be? That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5. That ain't bad. That ain't bad, right? Here we are calling the 5th out of 6th one. Let's see how it goes. I think that we're going to continue to move up. The Zebec community, guys. I know there's a lot of you who are lovers. I know there's a lot of you who understand, your fans, and I appreciate you guys. But man, I've never seen such sore losers in my life whenever it comes to anything, man. In these comments, there's a guy. And I don't want to get too far into it because I don't really care to talk about the haters today too much. But I do like to poke fun. They're poking fun at me, calling me all kinds of names and insults up here at the top. Man, the names, the insults, the audacity. And then all I did yesterday was talk about, hey, we ended up being right. That's great. We got a lower low. We said this the whole time. Technically, I could still be wrong. Technically, we could move higher. But if we see a lower low, then I will be right. If I was wrong, I would have made a video that said I was wrong. If I was right, I think I'm entitled to do the same thing. I've made incorrect videos before, and I'll make a comment on X or a video, and I will say I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But whenever I say I'm wrong, I get a lot of shit talk. Yesterday, I wasn't even talking that much smack. I was just saying, you guys remember, I made a post on X. What was it? Let's just see. I said, remember all the emotional people who said I was retarded for calling the top about a month ago? And it was about a month ago. It's the 20th today. It was the 27th to the day that I called the top lower. And I had a guy who said on this, he's like, we're not upset because you called the top. We're upset, or because you said it was going down. We're upset because you're mocking us. I'm not mocking you. You guys were mocking me. A lot of you were mocking me at the top. And then I proceeded to mock him as a result. I'm like, see, this is mockery. This is what mockery looks like. I'm not mocking any of you. I've even said it a handful of times over the past like 20 days, guys. I would rather have been wrong. I'd rather have been the one that was being mocked and made fun of. I'm not calling anybody names. I'm not saying anything. The only thing I said is emotional, which, to be fair, if you're bullish at the high and you're bearish at the low, what other word would you use to describe somebody like that? That's emotional. There are a lot of people here who were bearish right here at the lows when we were still bullish. We were still bullish. And again, you're bearish at the lows. That's emotional. You're only emotional if you're bullish at the top. You're only emotional if you're bearish at the low. That's not an insult. It's just a fact. But the insults that I was being thrown, which are not facts, just because I defend myself or I'm taking a little bit of a victory lap, cut me some slack. You guys are sore losers. Sore losers is what a lot of you are. Not the ones who've been following for a long time, but the new ones, the ones who all bought in at the top. All you guys. You guys are a bunch of sore losers. And that's not even a name. That's a fact again. But let's move it on. I already spent more time talking about this than I care to. I wasn't mocking any of you. Just because I'm right. Me being right is a mockery? Is that what it is? Me saying that I was right is a mockery? Am I mocking myself if I said that I was wrong? If we moved up, I would have said that I was wrong. I'm not mocking myself. It's just a fact. It's whatever. Who cares? We're still at a good point, by the way, to get out before the real reckoning begins, right? It's not going to be one straight shot down. There's going to be ups and downs and all arounds. But there might be a moment where we do start to move down at a very fast pace. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and we'll zoom out from there. Because again, the main thought behind this video should be that we are momentarily seeing some bullish stuff. I think that we will. 1 hour time frame. Looking at this here, higher lows. And if you're on X and you see me mocking people or talking shit, it's only because they're talking shit to me. That's it. Is that not fair? Is it not fair? I could just act like it doesn't exist. I could block them, which a lot of people do. I don't like blocking people. I like letting people talk smack. I've recently gotten into the habit of blocking people who throw unnecessary insults. I've gotten in the habit of that. And it's actually, I think, brought a lot of peace. In anybody who throws names at me, those are the people that I block. But if you say that you disagree, or you say that I'm wrong, or I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to block you. I really only block scammers. But I've recently gotten into the habit of blocking people who are just outright mean. Not people who disagree with me, but are just outright mean. You go be a child somewhere else. You can watch all my content, but you can't comment. It brings me peace. Anyways, 1 hour time frame. Looking at this here. Higher lows. Higher lows right here. We have lower lows here. Less volume coming in. Looks like you want to move up a little bit. If I had to guess, it looks like you want to move up. Bullish divergence on the MACD as well. A little bit of bullish divergence on the stochastics. Yeah, looks like you want to move up. Bitcoin looks like it's pulling back a little bit for what it's worth right now. We look at this on the 1 hour. Yeah, you're pulling back. I shouldn't say a little bit. That's rather an aggressive 1 hour candle there. Maybe we go a little bit lower. But again, I don't think Zebec goes too much lower. If you do go lower in this low, I don't think you go too much lower. I want to look at this back on the daily time frame, just see where we are, get our bearings from a low point here to a high point. I mean, yeah, if we were to go lower, it wouldn't be too surprising to find support at the 382. Maybe that's where we go. And maybe that was a call that I made a couple days ago. I don't know. This would be a totally acceptable area to find support because of prior resistance here. But if we go lower, if we go to the 382, that's 0027. We're at 0029. It's even like 00274. That's not that big of a deal. Drop a little bit lower. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Do it. I dare you. 1 hour time frame. I stand by it. Go a little bit lower, whatever. This is a perfect area to expect some type of a bounce to the upside. We look at this on the 4 hour. Let me just look at the 1 hour RSI one more time. Yeah, I think so, right? Because look at this. You were getting oversold, super oversold, 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 oversold. Now you're finding support at the oversold zone. Not getting overbought at all. Here, you at least got up there. You rejected it, in all fairness, but now you're rejecting the oversold zone. There's a tide that's shifting here. It's the 1 hour time frame. It's not a massive tide, but a little bit, right? A little bit of something. A little bit of something to the upside. I wonder if we look at this from a low point here to a high point here, would that be appropriate? Should I take this high? 1272 support, not bad. Golden ratio take you up to 00327. That might be where you go. You can go up to 0033, 00327. That wouldn't surprise me too much. 4 hour RSI definitely showing some bullish divergence. Stochastics definitely showing some bullish divergence. The MACD as well, all bullish divergence on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Yeah, you're at prior points where you found resistance before and you're potentially finding support here as you're moving lower, volumes dying off. Yeah, if I'm wrong and this is not the pinpoint low, you go a little bit lower, whoop-de-doo. I don't think it's going to matter in a couple days. I don't think it's going to matter in a week. You're probably going to move up. Probably. If Bitcoin shits the bed, then probably not. But we look at this, the 382, a very common area to retrace to is right here at prior support here, and a little bit of a knot here. It's a bit knotty right there. Going up to the 382, typically you don't find resistance right at it. In very bearish situations, you'd find resistance directly at it and come down, maybe even just below it. But likely, the most likely outcome would be that you wick a little bit above it. And that 382 is at 00321. So likely, we see a move that takes us above 00321. And this is the best, because even though I'm bearish, even though to the T, to the day, we called the top perfectly, while being bullish since February throughout this whole move up. This is the best part, because now that I'm bullish, the price will move up. And if any of the it heads want to come out and talk smack, I've been bullish this whole time. They can't get me. And then I'll be bearish at the right time. They'll be bullish again. They'll say how dumb I was, just like I was here, just like I was here, just like I was here. And round we go. And then I'll be the one that has a lack of class. That'll be me. I'll be the one. Anyways, guys, I don't have anything else to say. I think that everything has been said. Daily time frame, let's see. RSI is taking on a bearish shape, but yeah, I don't expect that you just drop down like this. It can happen. But yeah, you probably see a little bit of volatility working your way down. Stochastics are bearish, come out, do your thing, whatever. MACD's right at a point to bounce. You're taking on bearish shapes overall, but I think you're at a right point to bounce. I don't have anything else to say. So if you can get above, let's see, you want to prove me wrong. You want to get back into the possibility, and I would totally flip bullish if we got high enough. You want to get to that point, this is what you would do. Ready? Let's see. And actually, I think you'd have to get above this golden ratio. Let's see. From a low to a high. If you can get above 00328 on a daily closing basis for 2 days in a row, we might be bullish momentarily. Might be bullish to a slightly higher high. Maybe this wasn't the high. Maybe you go higher. Right now, the probability that you go above this high is greatly diminished. It's greatly diminished. But in all fairness, the one thing that gives you hope that could happen, the one thing is that this breakout move, and it is a breakout move to the downside, has happened with the complete absence of volume. Bitcoin moves up, the rest of the market moves up. I mean, it could happen. And even still, again, if I'm wrong, oh man, I will talk about it. I will make a video saying that I was wrong and how I really believe that we were at the high, blah, 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 all the things. Who knows? It's not worth talking about now because it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it does. But if I'm wrong here, the point's still going to reign true overall. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In all fairness, too, if we're looking at this for what it is, if you're in an uptrend, sure, you broke out of this, but if you find support here, that's actually a pretty good area to find support to move up higher, and the lack of volume. There's cases to make here to be bullish. I'm taking the more bearish stance, and I'm starting to really believe that we are moving down because you have a lower high and a lower low. That's why. So any high from here, I would expect to be lower. Any low from here, I'd expect to be lower. There's no sense of being bearish if we get above this high, but I might start to turn a bullish note if we start closing days above 00328. 3278, whatever the case was, whatever that number was. I don't have anything else to say. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
A flip on chain. Most crypto acquisitions make big headlines and even bigger promises, and almost no one outside the Zebec community is talking about it. On May 29, 2025, Zebec Network acquired ScienceCard, a platform already being used by 50,000 students in 10 top UK universities. So those campus swipes aren't just funding textbooks, but they're also funding scientific breakthroughs, with each transaction verifiable on chain. Welcome to episode 7 of What's the 314, where we unpack this silent, this quiet, but powerful move. Let's go. Welcome back, Zebec Nation, to another episode of What's the 314. Obviously, I'm your host, 314 Crypto Man, and I'm very excited about this video. If you couldn't tell from the intro, we're going to be talking about the acquisition of ScienceCard. So a lot of the long-term holders of Zebec already know about this acquisition that we had, but for a lot of the newcomers, just wanted to kind of break down exactly what ScienceCard was. But before we go ahead and do that, just want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown as far as what made me think about doing this video. And essentially, Simon had, in a recent Spaces with Ben White, talked about an ambassador program. And essentially, me and ZBCN Man came together and we were like, look, what is it that they could possibly do that could really drive emphasis on Zebec, the utility, to everyday people? You know, and we thought about this. ScienceCard already enables people in the UK at these universities to fund some of these R&D projects. But as far as an ambassador program in the US specifically, we could go to campuses and talk about the super app and talk about everything Zebec. When you think about sports, right? We had marketing campaigns with Uphold already. You know, they have stuff with Tangem in the Bundesliga, you know, with soccer. What if we were to essentially get in front of these programs at these schools where you're talking about D1 sports, D1 basketball, soccer, and things like that? You get inside of these stadiums and these arenas, you know, on campus. These are the ideal people that you want to reach. When you talk about, you know, college student, the age of, like, let's say 19 to 23 or 24, whenever they graduate, however, or even up all the way up to 30 years old, that's the next wave of people that's going to be opting out of the traditional banking system to neobanks. So we were like, look, man, it'd be really great if the ambassadors were kind of put into that setting, because essentially people around those ages already use smartphone devices, right? They already know how innovative technology works. They've seen it. I've seen it, you know, from going from a flip phone to a smartphone. But nonetheless, that had me thinking, okay, let's make an episode about ScienceCard, because that itself allows our rails to handle tuition fee payments. When you talk about payroll for teachers, I mean, now you're talking about grants being streamlined. Like, the whole point of ScienceCard essentially was there was a delay with a lot of these R&D projects from funding. So when you think about these researchers or these scientists and they want funding for their project, they have to do it the traditional way, where they would have to fill out a grant from the government asking for funding. And you have to get vetted. You have to go through this long process. And there's nothing to gain when it's a lengthy process. And Zebec, as you know, with these streaming rails and this continuous settlement, just allows for now things to move a lot faster and seamless. And when you're talking about blockchain and crypto being embedded into the traditional system, when you implement stablecoins, now everything's verified. Now everything can be seen. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I went to go pick up pizza or purchase the pizza, and then on the pin pad, it asked me if I wanted to donate $1 to St. Jude's Hospital. Now, nobody even thought about this, right? Once you donate $1 to St. Jude's Hospital, how do you track that? How do you know it's going exactly to St. Jude's Hospital? You really just don't even know. But the whole concept of blockchain is that it's efficient, cross-border payments settle faster, and it's cheaper. And you can see this stuff in real time. So you can track the wallets of where the funds are actually going. And you can hold people accountable, you know? So
I just thought this would be a great episode. But please, if you guys don't know about Science Card, I got a video explaining it, and let's get into it. Let's go.
I'm joined by Daniel and John, the founders of Science Card, a purpose-built financial platform for the academic sector, serving tens of thousands of users across the UK. Let's dig into the story behind Science Card, what's next under Zebec, and why this matters for crypto adoption, education, and real-world payments. Daniel, John, thank you so much for coming in and joining me today.
Thank you, Ben, for the invitation. Thank you for having us, Ben.
I guess best place to start is tell me about Science Card. What is it, and why have Zebec acquired it?
Maybe it's helpful to explain why we founded Science Card in the first place. So John and I, we were PhD researchers at universities, and we saw how, the work is very important. Like, it's the birth of invention and helps cure cancer and things that are very important for us and our family. And we saw that there is much more money needed to actually progress. So we were thinking, how can more money flow towards science? And we thought the easiest and a fundamental thing to do in the private economy would be to combine the financial service with the R&D sector. So we came up with a product, Science Card, which was a wallet and a card to allow people to contribute to R&D projects, and also part of fees and earnings will go towards research projects to cure cancer, improve air quality, make our lives better, and always with the prospect to deliver to the families the future they deserve. That's we think. And we saw there's a great need. Then we met Zebec, and we saw actually there's a massive opportunity to scale this far greater than we have anticipated. So it was strategically, it's a great combination in the crypto space. It is extremely scalable, and it's a very good product for the people who feel good, but it can also have an impact potentially not seen before. And that's why we were full on board with this deal.
You know what? That dang Zebec. This thing, I don't think people understand the grasp of everything that they're kind of putting there. Actually, I think everybody sees this. Zebec's going to be the rails for essentially everything. Everything that's traditional that's going to flip on chain, I think Zebec's going to have a hand in. When you're talking about the UK, the acquisition of GateKnox, they acquire Science Card. They went to the House of Lords. They were talking to, people about the regulatory frameworks, and they're setting themselves up so that when it flips, they can benefit, from being in the UK, Deutsche Bank, all of that, right? The Genius Act get passed in the US. They have some of the most integrated chains on the Zebec cards. They're already becoming, the infrastructure for all of these neobanks. And it's just like, dude, now you tap into the global tuition market that's 800 billion. Payroll is already 11 trillion in the US. They touch corporate treasuries, especially if they partner with Hedera. They're already partners with Ripple, and Ripple Treasury, and how that is access to Fortune 500 companies. And again, if they flip over to crypto and stablecoins, Zebec is positioned to handle payroll for them. But this takes you outside of payroll, right? The whole point of Science Card itself is they saw an issue with a lot of R&D projects from getting funding the proper way, and they wanted everyday people or students or whomever to be able to assist them with having funding in real time, but they couldn't necessarily do everything they wanted as far as scaling until Zebec got into the picture. And Zebec gets a win-win because that's more real world utility. That's more real people that they're essentially building infrastructure for. And whenever you get into the real aspect of what they're doing, man, they can make grants, real time, right? They could make payroll essentially for, dude, it's nuts, bro. Oh my gosh. But let's get into this, right? So, okay. It says it's a platform used already for 50,000 students over 10 top universities, including Cambridge and Aston University. Why this acquisition matters: we're expanding our card program to include campus crypto spending, research-backed transaction models, education-focused financial tools. This is major. And again, it's in some really top 10 schools. So when you're talking about getting your foot in the door, this is perfect. You know, Zebec is literally going to be one of the biggest. They're going to benefit from so much whenever everything flips because they have their hand in just so many things. You're talking about agentic payments, B2B payments, supplier payments, remittance, you know, Stellar Lumens and MoneyGram. And dude, when you're talking about these apps and people being able to choose now and have access to seeing what projects they want to fund, and then you're talking about people who come from the UK, from like Japan, all right, and they go to school in the UK. Now they can pay, you know, in stable coins and not have to worry about, you know, 3 to 5 days of their funds, you know, going through, man. It just allows so much money to flow in and out. And these universities now can accept funding from all of these different places in the world. And when you're talking about tuition payments, think about this, right? It's just flowing because the utility allows for so much to happen. We talked about how when you get paid by the second, by the minute, by the hour, right, it eliminates the use for credit cards. And you could reroute your streaming payments to take care of some of the mortgage interests. Or even in this sense, you're talking about tuition, right? Let's say you get paid on campus and you want to use some of those funds to kind of pay some of the interest down on that, man. Even down to like car payments and stuff like that, man. It's just every little increment of stable coins or value being distributed in real time, dude. Zebec is going to have their hand in all of this. I'm sorry, man. I just love this stuff. Let's get into Science Card a little bit more. So right here it says Science Card is Britain's first fully featured current account and debit card dedicated to accelerating science and innovation. Alongside the expected consumer benefits of a modern account, Science Card is creating a new funding infrastructure by partnering with the UK's leading universities to enable users to directly support impactful peer-reviewed scientific research, ranging from developing new vaccines to unlocking means to combat climate change. 10% of Science Card profits are committed to funding research, and users can also opt to make micro grants and become patrons of specific projects, standing to benefit from any returns generated through research IP, which seems like an investment. So it's like if you were to fund a project that ends up going mainstream, you can benefit from being an investor into those said projects, which then that's like you get royalties from it. That is just another way, for investors to make money, but dude, it's just a no-brainer. It just enables you to track and know exactly where all your money's going. But let's get down here, a little bit more information as far as, the background from the two founders, a little bit of information there if you guys want to freeze it up and read it, but how it works. Science Card is an online current account with customers access through an app, which with its Mastercard debit card, which if you guys know Mastercard debit card, it's something that Zebec obviously does already, allows them to use it as their primary spending account. Features include real-time transaction monitoring, right? I had used that reference right there with the St. Jude's Hospital. Don't really know if the money's going to where it's intended, but obviously with everything being on chain or blockchain being invested into this, that can all be verified. Spending controls and customizable vaults. Science Card also offers a dynamic way for customers to boost scientific research funding with its one-click model. And then on top of that, I'm sure you could see, just like how you see like Uber, like these little reviews and ratings. You can do a little bit more digging as far as who it is that's leading these projects and things like that, but whatever. In addition to passive support through their everyday spending, the app also allows Science Card customers to round up purchases, amounts, or make one-off contributions as a way of supporting their research project of their choice. Within the app, customers can view and choose which scientific projects from which universities to support with contributions, as well as see Science Card's total funding for all their projects. So you guys see this, right? It says by making these contributions, customers can fund projects close to their hearts, meaning you got the choice. Same thing with the continuous settlement with payroll. If you want to get paid by the second, minute, by the hour, this is all your choice. And this is literally a token and a utility for the people. That is why people love Zebec. That is also why Simon is just the perfect guy for this, because he's just so transparent. No, this utility is something that everybody can understand, and it gives power to the people. This super app is going to allow people, everyday people, to earn money, send money, spend money, stake money, bridge assets. With the help of AI agents, all of this can be autonomous. And on top of that, You have AI agents, dude. It's a no brainer. You have AI agents in the digital and the physical form. And the whole part of this video was to just show you that they're tapping into other markets that you may not even be aware of. But one thing I wanted to do, and this will kind of give you guys a little bit more clarity as far as the utility that's going to run with Science Card, is I have a video that I want you guys to listen to. It's actually a Spaces. Whenever they was actually talking to the community about acquiring Science Card. And I just want you guys to see different perspectives, but also hear from Simon and the team as well about why this was so important and kind of the utility that it plans to expand on. Let's go.
What about those things and that product market fit really stood out to the Zebec network?
Well, one of the reasons why we zeroed in our efforts on the education sector over these past few months is because crypto adoption is highest amongst students and amongst the under 30 age category. That demographic is a key target for us. And it's a perfect fit with Zebec's strengths in crypto payments and, of course, stablecoin backed cards. So we are planning to roll out a number of Zebec products across the users of Science Card. We'll be introducing discounts on school payments and expenses if using a Zebec branded university card, as well as on the longer term roadmap. So think about in the next 6 months, we'll be introducing streaming payments for tuition at these schools, as well as potentially handling the payroll for the faculty at these institutions.
This is just mind blowing. Before we round this out, right? So we obviously know $11 trillion payroll, corporate treasuries, you got money you could tap there. Remittance, you got money you could tap there. You got the global tuition market that you could tap there. Dude, it's nuts. But with Science Card, if you guys look it up, Science Card wanted to get their banking license. Don't know what that's going to look like for Zebec and Science Card, but obviously, Zebec's going to be the rails for everything. But right here, I want you guys to pay attention to this. So it says partnerships, growth, and long-term. Science Card initial launch is in the UK with a targeted 30,000 customers. This is like in 2023. Since then, it's grown. As you know, that the original post said 50,000 users on it. So again, this was at 30,000 in 2023. And then 2025, we acquired them. And obviously there's growth there. But it says there are plans to expand Science Card to Europe and in the US over the next few years through partnerships with leading universities in those markets. Ultimately, Science Card estimates it will attract more than 2 million customers by 2028 and generate scientific funding worth upwards of 100 million per year. Zebec acquired this company. Everything that they do with Science Card is going to be a win for Zebec. And when you're talking about expanding from Europe to the US, they're also going to expand to the Middle East. They're also going to expand to Asia. They're also going to expand because this is where Zebec market is. It is global. So whoever they do payroll for is essentially the same people that Science Card can go to and say, hey, how about we take care of your universities? How about we take care of the funding, for that? And the rails are just going to be embedded and it's just going to be game over. But I know I ranted on this. This was just something fun, for the core Zebec Nation guys that if they wanted to tune into, to just see that, it's more than payroll. Obviously, if we do payroll, we can do agentic payments for you. Dude, it's just global domination. Universities, D1 schools, ambassador programs. This is the ideal situation that we had as a vision to really be ambassadors for, to get in some of these campuses in the US, because essentially if we're going to have a Science Card in the US, that's already kind of setting us up for that. And I would be down for it. I'd be ready to talk to some of these people about, real-time payroll and what that looks like, and explaining the intricate use cases and the super app, and possibly having their own physical card that they can make purchases for, and being able to fund all of these research projects and possibly be a part of, a situation where they may generate a return through royalties or investment events. Like, this is just mind blowing. With blockchain and crypto, it just offers so many different use cases. And just like you heard, the founders of Science Card, the scalability is just mind blowing. You just can't think, where this space is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. But with where Zebec is positioned, I mean, dude, you could truly see double-digit prices within the next 5 years, because This is global money. Money's going to be flowing nonstop. Blockchain is 24/7. The DTCC is going to be tokenizing all of these assets. BlackRock is buying everything up. Man, just position yourself, stay aligned, continue to follow the project, follow, like, subscribe to the channel.
Hey, athletes, the entire system is slow, fragmented, and built around middlemen. But blockchain changes the structure completely. And what happens when contracts become programmable? What happens when performance bonuses execute automatically? What happens when salaries stream continuously, real time, instead of arriving in delayed payments? Well, that changes everything. The first athletes already saw the shift coming. Russell Okung converted part of his NFL salary into Bitcoin. Odell Beckham Jr. took his Rams salary in crypto. Trevor Lawrence converted portions of his signing bonus into digital assets. Lionel Messi reportedly received crypto-related compensation as part of his PSG deal. And at first, people treated these moments like marketing stunts, but they weren't. They were early signals, because the real transformation was never about simply buying Bitcoin after payday. The real transformation is payroll itself becoming blockchain native. And that's where Zebec Network enters the picture. Instead of traditional batch payroll systems, Zebec focused on continuous payment streaming, money moving real time, second by second. And the idea is simple. If athletes perform in real time, why shouldn't compensation move in real time too? Streaming payroll could allow teams to automate salaries, bonuses, escrow agreements, endorsement splits, and even international payments across leagues worldwide. Instead of waiting for wires to settle, payments could move instantly across blockchain rails. And inside that ecosystem sits ZBCN, the utility asset powering activity throughout the network infrastructure, not just for athletes, but potentially for teams, leagues, payroll systems, agents, sponsors, and global sports organizations. Now imagine what the next generation of sports contracts looks like. An NFL receiver catches enough passes to trigger a bonus, and that smart contract executes automatically. An NBA player reaches all-star status, and incentive payments release instantly on chain. An MLB deferred payment is locked transparently in escrow, where everyone can verify the funds exist. A global soccer transfer automatically distributes percentages to clubs, agents, and development organizations without months of disputes. No delays, no accounting confusion, no uncertainty, just programmable agreements executing exactly as written. Professional sports are global now. Players move between countries constantly. Currencies change, banking systems change, tax systems change. Blockchain infrastructure creates the possibility of a unified financial layer underneath all of it. One system, one settlement layer, instant global movement. And for international athletes especially, that could become one of the biggest shifts sports finance has ever seen. And of course, the transition won't happen overnight. Leagues move slowly. Lawyers protect old systems. Agents protect existing commissions. Regulators will scrutinize every step. But technology usually wins when efficiency becomes impossible to ignore. And blockchain payroll may eventually become too efficient for professional sports to avoid. The athletes are changing. The contracts are changing. And the money itself is always changing. This isn't just crypto entering sports. This is financial infrastructure evolving in real time. Welcome to the chain game. The playbook is being rewritten. The future of sports finance may already be on chain. Zebec Nation, let's go.
Turn it up. Zebec Nation.
Zebec Nation, tap in, lock in. I'm on deck, all signal, no distortion. Hot news, breaking code, who started it? From protocol to the population, compliance coordinated. Talk fast, think faster, headlines detonate, builders, rails, insiders resonate. No filler, no filter, no scripted fabrication. Real-time execution, verified information. Payroll to power, global circulation. Deep dives, lifelines, market calibration.
Base, it's Zebec.
Nation!
Want the pulse.
Get tuned in!
Zebec Nation.
Welcome to the Zebec Nation podcast, your home for everything Zebec Network, ZBCN, crypto news, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. I'm your host, ZBCN Man. And if this is your first time ever watching us, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends, hit the notification bell, and if you would be so kind as to leave us a comment below. My host tonight, I've got 314 Crypto with us. What's up, bro? Mr. Foresight in the house. We got a new member of Zebec Nation, Crypto Matt, straight out of Boston. I've been looking forward to this one for so long. I know we all have been. You guys know this guy. He's the voice of Zebec, guys. Like, and he's got such a great voice. I wish I had the accent. I wish I had that. I just got a little Southern / Midwestern accent. But yeah, our Zebec Nation Spotlight of the Week this week is Mr. Benjamin White. Hello, Ben. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I love it when you say that. I get, I've done it. I've had a few gigs in the Web3 space where it's all been voice based, and I do think being British and having a pretty like non-accented, typical British voice has done me really well in Web3. I think the Americans certainly really go in for it. So I appreciate that.
You're the Morgan Freeman of Zebec. Morgan, you've been waiting for that one, man. You've been holding that one.
That's a good one.
Jeez.
That's a good one.
That
I've never
was
had
amazing.
that before.
Mr. Foresight with the jokes. I love it. From now on, he's the Morgan Freeman of Zebec. That's it. Moving forward, bro. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, Ben, what we do is we bring everyone on the show. We spotlight them, show a lot of love to the crypto community, all the people that do it, whether that's people that have overcome tragedy in their life, which we all have to some extent, or we just work in Web3 or whatever it is we do. We just love showing love to the crypto community as a whole. And so I just want to kind of know, like, what's your background, how you got into crypto, and even more so, and I know everyone wants to know this, how did you get connected with Zebec?
Okay, I'll take them on in that order because Zebec came later in the story for me when it came to crypto and blockchain. I graduated from university 2005, did the whole thing where you travel around a bit, and then I started working in marketing and e-commerce specifically. I worked for a couple of kind of, I guess you would call them blue chip companies in the UK. And I very quickly fell into e-commerce as it was really starting to kind of come to the fore. And eventually, having moved around a little bit, set up a business here in the UK. And I was, it was a next day delivery of organic produce. Can you believe it? So it was based on a farm and we were selling organic meat and vegetables and all kinds of other things like that. The next day delivery, that's the beauty of living on a small island in the United Kingdom. You can deliver everything everywhere in one day. And so that was the business that I created, and it was ticking along really nicely from 2015 to 2019. And then in 2020, we all know what happened. The pandemic struck the world, and food businesses like my own just went bananas. And a bigger company came in and made me an offer I kind of couldn't refuse. And that was the first time in my life where I sat back and kind of said, rather than, like, how am I going to pay the bills this month? It was more like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to do going forward? How am I going to define my career? That was a great moment, and it's done. And I don't particularly want to go back into the same thing. And the way that I built the business that I sold was via kind of like lifestyle marketing. And I loved this idea of being able to, so we didn't go all in for like vouchers and, like Google ads and all of that kind of stuff. We created really, really solid content where we were able to kind of like curate our community. And this idea of building a brand and a lifestyle around a community is always the thing that's got me going. And so then when in 2021, I discovered via kind of NFTs, actually, the whole kind of what was going on in Web3, that what really struck me wasn't the decentralized finance lore of crypto, though I've come to really appreciate that, obviously. it was more about the fact that you could deploy, launch, mint, whatever it might be, a digital asset that could be distributed to people who then start to believe in your vision. And whether that's a product, a community, intellectual property, a sports club, whatever it might be, to be able to bring those people along at the very beginning and give them like a piece of the action that then keeps them both financially and kind of emotionally involved in what you're trying to build, really, really appealed to me. And so I found myself digging into kind of like various things. I picked up a few like social media roles because I was just like, how can I help you? I found people who I really appreciate what they were doing, a couple of NFT projects specifically. Shout out my friends Philip Colbert and Craig Redmond, two great artists that created the Lobstars and Dower Darsels, two NFT projects that I went in to help from like a social media and a community perspective. And the one thing that I think I'll blow my own trumpet and say I'm pretty good at is networking and finding opportunities and wheedling my way into things and being like, and also I would say like one of the things I really love about Web3 and blockchain is that it's one of the only industries in the world where you can just be like a dude who holds $10 of something and you can go and speak to the CEO. Like that doesn't happen anywhere else. And the sooner you realize that in the space and actually like make the point of going and introducing yourself to the CEO, the better, because it can change your life. And in many instances that has. And so I'll cut this story a little bit shorter now and say I've introduced myself to and ended up working with the people at OpenSea, Super Rare, ApeChain, and through ApeChain I helped them with their Web3 activations with like the Alpine Formula One team and Cool Kicks and a number of other really interesting platforms, projects, whatever you would call it. And that has been amazing for me. And one of those projects also that I've worked with is Zebec. So to answer the second half of your story, I had a really good friend, guy called Robin, who he worked with what are they called? Outlier Ventures, I think they're called, something like that. One of the VCs that was like tapping into NFT projects and IP plays, working closely with Animoca and brands like that. He introduced me about 2 years ago to some guys that were, I think they'd done like a CTO, a community takeover of, remember Sundog, the meme that was on Tron, on TRX, on Tron. It was a really interesting token. It was a great meme. These guys were based all around the world. I think they were based mainly out of the Middle East, about Dubai. And he just said, look, they need someone who can help them with socials. They need to just consistently deliver social media posts that are a bit more kind of like top end because they've got this great market cap. I think Justin Sun had backed the token, run it up to like $250 million or something like that. It was like, you all remember what the heady days of the meme token era were like. It was bonkers. And so I said, all right, I'll have a conversation with them. And I met these guys and they were like, yeah, look, this is how we'll do it. Weekly basis, come in, help us with memes. These are the kind of activations we want to do. These are the partnerships we want to make. We're going to speak with these guys. We want to host spaces. I'd done all these things. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll help you out. It sounds fun. Best thing I did, because a meme token's prerogative back in the day was go find as many different people out there as you can and dream up a reason why you can say, we're collaborating, and that will make people bullish about the token and the number go up. So I got introduced to all of these people. One of the people I got introduced to was Simon, because Zebec provided its card infrastructure to Sundog as a token that could be uploaded to and spent on Zebec Network, on using Zebec's infrastructure. So when that partnership happened there, I got invited to host the spaces, and Simon came on. And there are a few people out there who I have really connected with. in Web3, and one of them is Simon. And from the minute I started speaking to him, I was like, this guy gets it, man. I did, in many instances, when you host spaces like I do, you need to create like a run of show document or like a bit of a script that everyone follows along with. And I've been good at doing that in my time. With Simon, he's like, Ben, create what you want to do loosely and fire away. And he's so articulate and he's so good at being able to present his vision and what he wants to achieve. And we have such a good chemistry together when we're talking, particularly when we're talking live in a live, like on our spaces that we do, that I was just like, oh man, this guy's great. So we had a really good show. And then I made a point when I meet someone like that, I make a point of keeping in touch. So I grabbed him in Telegram and I was like, every couple of weeks, I was just touching base, like, hey, Simon, need anything doing? Like, how are you? And then one day, I think I just caught him on a day where he was like, do you know what? We do need to be a little bit more consistent with the way that we communicate with our community and our audience. And so he hit me up and he said, thinking about Spaces series, I'm thinking we do, maybe one every 2 weeks, but if we've got a lot going on, it could be one a week, it could be two a week occasionally, who knows? And we'll just see where it goes. How would you fancy it? And I said, I would absolutely love to do it. And since then, I work as a freelancer, so I'm a consultant, but I have a Zebec email address so he can introduce me. So he can introduce me to people that we're going to interview. I have an open invite to a team call once a week so that they can brief me if they need to tell me about something they're going to announce or whatever. And so without becoming like an official, fully flexing part of the team, I've become kind of like their little mascot dude on the side that talks about what they're doing. And they're all wonderful people. And I've really enjoyed it. And that's been the case now for about just over a year, I think. And it's been a really, really good year. I've learned an awful lot from them. So sorry to take you all around the houses. That was a long answer, but that's my story.
Love it, man. Thank you.
I'm glad that you actually took that route. I really am, because everything that you just said, that's the evolution of relationships. And I've been talking about that a lot lately, that crypto is business. And at the end of the day, business is about relationships. If somebody don't like you, they're not going to do business with you. But everything you just told us about how you've made it to where you are has everything to do with relationships. And what you saw in Simon, the reason I'm asking this is important, because what you saw is something I saw as well in Simon. And when it comes to, I believe, companies, I think.
So I guess we'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining. And you can finish this video on the Zebec Nations podcast. But thank you for joining. It's main man BTM signing out. Let's get back to money and stay dangerous. Miners out.